Hey, Clay. Hey, Cheyenne. Hi, Cheyenne. How you guys doing? Hey, PH. Hey, Mad Mike. Tatiana. Big Hawk. Hey, thanks, pal. Hey, Vanetta. How do? Sarah, thank you. It is nice to be back. It is certainly nice to be back. Hey, Darlene. Hey, Eli. Hey, Bobby. Hey, Renee. Hey, Bernard, sorry. Hey, peeps. Hey, Tisno. How's life in Croatia? Russell Kennedy, how do you do? The UK is in the house. Anthony Tommy Tom, more UK. Hey, William. How's everybody doing tonight? Soren, thank you. Hey, Steve. Guys, I am not going live on YouTube tonight. I thought I would be going live on both platforms starting tonight, but it's going to start tomorrow. That'll all start tomorrow. We heard that missiles were sent to Ukraine secretly and used on Russian equipment in Crimea. That is true, Cold One. So, remember Biden came up with $300 million in aid back in February and March. Apparently, a big chunk of that was to get ATACMS here in secret. And those ATACMS were used, it's being reported that they were used in 2 offensive missions. One we know was Jankoy. We're not certain what the other one was, but I'll bet you it was when the headquarters of the 810th Marine Corps were destroyed in Sevastopol. I'll bet you that those weren't Storm Shadows. I'll bet you that they were ATACMS, long-range ATACMS. That would make sense. That would definitely make sense. But we don't know. We're not sure what the other mission was. Thanks, Eli. Hey, Nicola. Thanks, Eli. So, guys, this is our first day back from yet another live ban. And that's 4 out of 5 weeks, 4 out of the last 5 weeks that my live has been banned. And so I am going to be less interesting to listen to since whatever I say gets me banned. Maybe. I don't know about what happened in Bakhmut. Don't know the answer to that. Thanks, Anthony. Well, that's why starting tomorrow, the Live at 5 will be simultaneously broadcast both here on the Tickety Talk and on the Tube of Views. I'm gonna do them both. Thank you, Clay. I know you do. Hey, Jay. Hey, Peeper. How's your friend in Kyiv? Hey, Georgie. Hey, Sharon. Link, a.k.a. the cutest dog ever. Well, that's a new one. How you doing, cute dog? So, personally, I was very pleased to hear that the United States had secretly sent those ATACMS to Ukraine. I was really very happy about that. Hey, Dutch Cossack. Everyone seems to be pulling together lately. Yes. There's some kind of a live chat function on YouTube. I'm going to have to take a look at it. She's doing okay. She sent me a TikTok of the TV thing getting blown up in Kharkiv. Yeah. Hey, Kim Sam, I'm doing good, thanks. May 9th would be a good day for that. Boy, it would be nice if they could get it down before the Victory Day parades, huh? Would NATO attack Russia if Zelensky gets killed? That seems unlikely. Ukraine is not a dictatorship, right? It's a democracy. And so just like we have an orderly succession in the United States, which unfortunately puts Mike Johnson just 2 heartbeats away from the presidency, but just like we have an orderly succession in the United States, there's an orderly succession here. Taking out Volodymyr Zelensky will not change anything except who the current president of Ukraine is. Well, I wouldn't worry about the TikTok ban too much because I think that immediately there will be a lawsuit over it. I think that immediately ByteDance or their subsidiaries will file a motion or an injunction to stop enforcement until they can work this First Amendment case through the courts. Thank you, Cheyenne. Thank you very much. So really, I mean, I think the legal battle over this thing is going to take 10 years, could easily take 10 years. And by then, some other solution will likely have been devised. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Hey, Dive Hard. Yeah, Sharon, you saw that too, huh? It's a good thing. Because I don't want to get banned again. I do not want to get banned again. So I'm going to try to not get banned again. I will try to be more professional and less emotive. It sounds like a way too large a thing to take away people's freedom. Well, I mean, on the bandwagon, exactly. You know, I have very mixed feelings about the whole TikTok thing. Given the way that I am constantly fighting, I mean, every single day my videos get taken down. Every single day I have to appeal them. 4 out of 5 weeks of live bans is very disconcerting. And problematic. And especially now, so much has been going on now. It almost feels like it was conscious. But at any rate, now that the aid has passed, maybe that pressure will be relieved a bit. Because now there's nothing that they can do to stop it, right? I mean, I was a big cheerleader for the aid. Now that it's done, you know, Vanetta texted me and said, who's our next letter to? What are we going to do next? I'm like, I don't know. There's nothing to do. Ukraine has what they need for the next year. So until we get through the elections in the United States, I don't think there's going to be much to write to Congress about. Now, that's not to say that things might not change or that something might not come up, but at this time, I can't imagine what that would be. They sure are. Alex Collin, are you in Lebanon, the country, or the town in Pennsylvania? The lads on the front line are holding up, Anthony. If Sergeant Maxime comes in tonight, maybe we'll ask him for an update. Trump's not getting anywhere. Hey, Dave Hayes. Everybody, the doc is here. Say hello to the doc. Yeah, Trump is done. Trump is done. I mean, the guy in the primaries, he averaged about 75% of Republican votes. He can't even get 75% of his own base to vote for him. So, Chris Crouch wants to know, what would you suggest I do in support of Ukraine? Well, if you got any money, United 24 is the place to donate. If you're in a country where there is a Ukrainian diaspora, especially a Ukrainian Orthodox church that's doing fundraising, they all need help. You can run the big six wheel, you can stuff envelopes, you can do whatever. There is lots to be done. That's for sure. You know, if you take a look at Volunteer Ukraine, there's lots to be done. Hey, Maddie Wright, Webadeb. Thanks for the gifts, everybody. Now that the aid is coming, what do you think the next strategy will be for the Ukrainians, says Chili Wilbur. So I've been listening to a lot of experts, and Dr. Hayes might chime in on this. But the consensus seems to be that this aid will buy the Ukrainians another year. It will give them another year to hold on there and hold the line. But the experts are not predicting any big breakthroughs, which is very disappointing to me. I mean, I really thought that with the F-16s coming, with some of these heavy weapons coming, that we would see some kind of a breakthrough on the front line. At the very least, the land bridge to Crimea and the Kerch Bridge taken down, and the siege of Crimea to begin in earnest. That was my hope. But I don't know that we're even going to see that. Listening to the experts, they don't seem to think so. Now, I agree, Sharon. The experts, the Ukrainians are underestimated, and Cold One says the experts are wrong. They may well be. We just don't know. Anthony Tommy Tom wants to know if there are any oil refineries left in Russia. Anthony, oil refining capacity in Russia is only down 10%. Now, I know everybody is going to say, wait, I saw 15%. I saw 15%. It was down 15%, but the Russians have managed to make some repairs. And so the effect right now is that refining is only down 10% of capacity. Now, that's a lot, right? You're talking about millions of barrels. Wait, how many are you talking about? You're talking about 175,000 barrels a day at the one place, 175,000 barrels a day at the other place, and then something like, what's half of 175,000? But a half of 175,000, somebody help me out here, is about 80,000, say. 85,000. So about a quarter no, more than that. 320,000 barrels a day is what it's off by. They refine 5 million barrels a day. That's a lot of oil. $175,000 barrels of oil on the wall, 175,000 barrels of oil. Is Putin trying to recreate the USSR? At this point, I think Putin's just trying to not shit his shorts. Yeah, they do not care what they lose, that's for sure. Yeah, Russell is concurring with the experts. Ukraine won't be ready for an offensive until 2025. Well, they can't use the Storm Shadows or the ATACMS on Russian soil. So we won't see Storm Shadow attacks on on the Kremlin or Moscow. Now, Crimea, sure, absolutely. Thanks, Chris Crouch. I appreciate your kind words. Hey, Wanpa and Ukraine. What's going on, pal? Russia sure is hard to stop. Hey, Fitz. Good evening, Birdie. Yes, I am back. Let's hope for a little while. I wish I'd seen your post earlier, Dark Irish. When you texted me, man, I was just I had just posted that video. Any news from the incursion groups? So I did a video today about the freedom, which one? The Russian Volunteer Corps. So the Freedom for Russia brigades have left Russia. They are back in Ukraine. And the Kyiv Post did a great interview with the Russian Volunteer Corps. And the video is on YouTube. I did a kind of summary video of it on TikTok today. But I really would encourage anybody that's interested in the work of the Russian Freedom Legions to take a look at that interview from the Kyiv Post. That's J-Lo. If you take a look at that interview from the Kyiv Post, you'll be all up to date with what those guys are getting. Thanks, Sophus. Hey, Ben Sturgis, happy birthday. What happens to Putin if he loses the war? So the doc, I don't know if Dave Hayes is still here, but Dr. David Hayes did a video on that today. And he talked about the work of some of his colleagues, other PhDs who study how dictators survive the loss of war. And that dictators consolidate their power bases, and so they manage to stay in power. That's a very short summary of the doc's video. And so we don't have any idea what's going to happen. And the academics and the experts on this subject seem to think that Russia won't suffer too much. Now, everybody knows I'm an amateur. I am not an expert. And I disagree strongly with that analysis. I think that there is a great deal of internal pressure inside of Russia for a change. That people have the internet today. They can see how the rest of the world lives. And they can see that 1 out of 5 of them don't have a toilet. And that the reason for that is because of the kleptocracy at the top. So I think there's far more societal pressure inside of Russia for change than maybe some folks are taking into consideration. Certainly Putin has power, and certainly he has consolidated his power base. I question whether or not he hasn't consolidated it in such a way it is so small, there are so few people at the top now, and they all have such a chunk of the wealth that there is a mob with pitchforks and torches coming who have nothing left to lose. Why don't they have toilets? They don't have toilets because they've been intentionally kept poor as the people at the top steal all the money for themselves. That's why. They're a third world country. Make no mistake, Russia is a third world country. Yes, I feel pretty after that. Thank you. Thank you for that. So for backup, why don't they have toilets? They don't have toilets because you don't get toilets. You know, until last year, the average annual income in the big cities, Moscow and St. Petersburg, was $12,000 a year. Can you imagine trying to live on $12,000 a year in the United States? I mean, yeah, it's an economy equivalent for the average person to what it's like living in Mexico, right? I mean, nothing against the Mexicans, but it's not a good economy. And the living conditions, if I'm not mistaken, the standard of living in Mexico is actually somewhat higher than in Russia in the rural areas. Hey, Steve-O, how you doing? Is Zelensky as good as we in the UK think? He's pretty fucking good, man. All the people that get folded will rise up against Putler, the ad, nothing, and now it is worse. It's worse for some of them. Peter, have you discussed Shoigu's right-hand man being fired for treason? Well, he's been fired and arrested, right? And James, he's being accused of what, bribery? Like he's been bribed? Where in Putin's Russia is that a crime? Where is that not standard operating procedure? So the idea that he's been arrested for it and lost his job for it means that there is something else at play. And it's likely to have something to do with discrediting Shoigu, scapegoating Shoigu, and throwing him under the bus for all of Putin's failures. Remember, Shoigu's a Tuvan. He's not ethnically Russian, so he's definitely disposable. Is Russia still active in Georgia? They're certainly active politically in undermining the government. And as a matter of fact, protests continue in Georgia over some recent laws that are meant to make Georgia more like Russia. And there are literally tens of thousands of people in the streets in Georgia protesting that. That's a domino to watch. Listen, the whole second, third world country bullshit is nonsense. And it's nonsense because we don't use it the way that those terms were ever intended to be used. We've got it in our heads that they have something to do with economics, and that's not what they were for. That's not what they were meant to be. So let's just end that discussion now. The fact is that the people of Russia have been kept poor through the machinations of a ruling class that has stolen everything for themselves. 0.0000001% of the population, that's 5 zeros, 0.0000001% of the population owns more than 99.98% of the population. I mean, you think wealth inequality is bad in the United States. The average pensioner in Russia is bringing home $150 a month. They're living on $150 a month. How do you do that when eggs are 100 rubles for 10? They are kept poor to control them the way that Moscow wants. Absolutely. The people in charge in Moscow want to be able to, they want their people to be poor so that they can buy and sell them like commodities. It's outrageous. Hey, Pugga Mahone. How you doing? How's life in Germany? Hey, Richard Prexis. Yeah, you got no plumbing, you got no running water, you can't have a toilet. And that's 20% of Russians. 1 in 5 Russians. Out in the country, it's much higher. That's just the average for the whole country. But out in the sticks, it's quite a bit higher. Hey, Super Chip. Cold outside again. Yeah, man, we had a beautiful March here in Kyiv, but April has been cold and wet. Dan Ballard's not here, is he? I was thinking about him today because I was so glad I had those winter clothes he sent me. I really need them this month, boy. Whew. I'm wearing sweaters and that winter coat all the time. Hey, John Williams. Hey, Aunt. Thanks for the 61 billion. It's got to help, Aunt. It's got to help. In your opinion, why did Putin invade Ukraine? We know why Putin invaded Ukraine. Evgeny Prigozhin told the truth. He told us why they invaded. They invaded to pilfer this place for themselves. That's why. And to erase from the world an entire people, culture, and language. We've seen the plans to turn Ukraine into an unpopulated agricultural zone, a sanitary zone between Europe and Russia. It's outrageous. So that's not my opinion. Those are the captured plans of Moscow, captured in the bunkers of abandoned command posts here in Ukraine when the Ukrainians pushed them out of 54% of the territory that it's killing me the way that these Russian bots are always talking about how, oh, if Ukraine's winning, why does Russia control 18% of the country? Russia had 42% of the country. They seem to have forgotten how much of the country Russia's given back already. And they're going to give it all back. It's all coming back. Thanks, Dark Irish. Did we make it a half hour? Is it 5:30 there already? Made it a half hour. Tick tock, tick tock. And you know what I don't see? I don't see the really aggressive trolls in here tonight. Now that the aid package has passed, we might not be targeted the way that we have been. Oh shit, only 29 minutes. Now I've jinxed it. It's pretty tone deaf to brag as it's Goliath fighting David. Exactly, Mel. I couldn't agree more. Hey, Mel K. It's early where you are. How you doing? It's so crazy how they get away with the largest terror attack in history. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. You know, guys, I should mention here. Oh, and I apologize. Let me think for 1 second. Eli, you're the sponsor of tonight's live. Everybody thank Eli for us. Hey, Betty Thompson. Eli's the sponsor of tonight's live. Eli is also our title gifter tonight. Good to see you too. Thanks, Billy Bob Baloney. Yay, Eli. Thanks, Eli. Hey, Jason Willis Starrin. Yeah, I'm sorry. I forgot to ask Nada to make that call today, but she's going to do it tomorrow. So, guys, I want to talk a little bit because today's clearly a mile. Life is going to change for the Ukrainian armed forces, thank God. I don't know what that is, Jason. I don't know what that is. So we had really good news today. And of course, the live got turned back on today. Oh, it's the Saharan sand. Yeah. We're getting more of that. There is something called I know this. The Sasmum. I'm not sure. That's not quite right. But there's an Arabic word for a particular kind of hot dry desert wind that carries sand with it. And we're suffering from this sasmoon, or whatever it is. And that's carrying dust from the Sahara all the way up here to Ukraine. So across the Black Sea to Ukraine. And it's affected the weather. That's one of the reasons why March was so nice. It was really, really nice. Kalima, that might be a word for that. But there's another word too. Anyway, it doesn't matter. The point is that the jet stream is working in such a way as to bring that hot, dry Saharan wind here to Ukraine, and with it, all of this dust. And Jason, you're suggesting that there is so much dust in the air that it's turned the mud red with the Sahara sand or dust. Happens in UK too. Cars get covered. Sahara to Amazonia. God, I mean, that's all the way around the world. All over Europe was a red rain. Where, in Jersey, Dark Irish? Turkey, you can understand, but to get across the black, I mean, it's amazing that it makes it this far. I'm sorry to hear that. So, there is this red rain, apparently. As I say, it has been cold and wet. Cold and wet. It's been quite miserable here. And then on top of that, we have this Saharan dust. But at any rate, in the big world, we had a major turning point in the war today when President Biden signed the foreign aid bill and authorized the package to Ukraine, Taiwan, and Israel and Gaza. Now, in the microcosm of the world, here in our little Live at 5 world, it's also a milestone. As of today, I hit 920,000 likes and 19,700 followers, which means I am now in the top 20% of TikTok channels. So I want to acknowledge that, and I want to thank all of you for your support, especially, of course, the team that drives this channel. Chief among them are the moderator team, of course. Cheyenne, Vanetta, John Williams, PT, and Jay, as well as Travis. And then Lars, who runs the Discord server, and Nightshade, who runs the Peter's Peeps group on Facebook, which if you're on Facebook, you should interface with us there, Peter's Peeps on the Book of Faces. And then, of course, a lot of that is down to you guys who are here in the live all the time, liking the live, sharing the live, pushing the live, right? And so that's a big part of it. Now, you guys know I have an extremely high level of engagement. Virtually everybody in here, I recognize your names, we chat, we text back and forth, but that is getting harder and harder to scale up. And so I have stopped looking at the message requests. You know how on TikTok you get message requests? I've had to just stop looking at them. I mean, most of them are death threats and Russian trolls anyway. So it's better not to even look at them, I think. So if you've tried to contact me that way, it's not a good way to contact me. I can't manage that anymore. There's too many of them, and they're too nasty and rude most of the time. Um, so hey, F and hell. So if you want to talk to me, probably the best thing to do is to put a comment in the comment section. I'm going to continue to try to engage in the comments section as much as I have, but I'll be honest, it's getting harder and harder to curate the comments the way that I have, and I'm going to continue to try to do that. But you'll notice already on the videos that blow up, you get 100,000 views on a video, you just can't keep up with the trolls. It's not possible. And it's better. It's probably better for me not to try. So you're going to see some changes like that around the channel, I would say. As much as I would like that to be a different situation. Exactly, J-Lo. You can only do what you can do. And there is a limit to how much of that kind of curation. It was one thing when there were 3,600 of us, right? It's a different thing today. It's a different thing today. Thank you, Asphalt Schneider. Asphalt Schneider. You lay blacktop, bro. Thanks, Amanda. Okay, so do I think Donald Trump can win the election in November? No. No, I do not. No, I do not at all. I think that Joe Biden or whoever is the candidate in November is going to have the biggest landslide victory in all of American presidential history. I don't believe, because look, Donald Trump has convinced his supporters for the last 8 years that the whole thing is rigged. So why vote? Why vote? It's all rigged. They're going to steal it from him again anyway, right? It's like he's pissed off that nobody's coming out. He wants crowds outside his courtroom, right? Who would go? The last time they all showed up, they were told that it wasn't them. That it was Antifa, it was BLM, it was infiltrated by the FBI. It wasn't really my supporters at January 6th. Hey, Travis. So, yeah, Big Hawk makes the point that in the primaries, who votes in the primaries? The most rabid fans of your base. And then you got all these ballot initiatives to secure reproductive rights for women. That's going to bring out all of the people that are going to vote for Biden, not for Trump. So, I don't see it. I don't see Trump winning at all because I can do math. Hey, Travis, we were just talking about last night. In PA last night, people voted for Nikki Haley. Was the PA primary yesterday? What percentage did she take, I wonder? Louisa, the polls don't any longer show him as the winner. Well, first of all, the polling is flawed, and we know the polling is flawed. It's been flawed. She got 17% of the vote, and she's dropped out, dude. That's hysterical. Right there you go. And I bet you those 17, 18%, they're not going to vote for Trump no matter what. They may just not show up. While women and those interested in bodily autonomy are going to show up to vote for their ballot initiatives and then vote for Biden at the same time. And if RFK stays in, he's a conspiracy theory nut. He's an anti-vaxxer. He's not going to pull from Biden. He's going to pull from Trump. So he's a spoiler on the wrong side as far as the Trump campaign is concerned. They should not encourage him to be in the race thinking that it's going to pull votes from Biden, because it's not. So in terms of the polling is deeply flawed. Do we know that? We've known it since 2016. In 2016, the polling said Hillary was unbeatable. And that wasn't true. I knew it wasn't true. I remember, no, it doesn't matter how I spent that night. Yeah, I did not spend it watching TV, I'll tell you. So Sean Page says, CNN states today that Ukraine already got ATACMS delivered. When is the damn bridge going? Well, about 37 days ago, I want to say, Ukraine said 100 days. So 37 from 100 is 63. So Sean, within 63 days, there will be no more Kersh Bridge. And CNN is correct. Reuters is reporting that $300 million package that Biden put together back in February, March, included the provisioning of ATACMS, some ATACMS for Ukraine. And those ATACMS were used on the attack on Jankoy Air Base, where we saw the warehouse full of S-300 missiles destroyed, and at least 3 S-400 launchers, 1 S-400 radar, and 2 S-300 launchers. But it was the warehouse full of missiles, the big stockpile of 800 missiles, that was the big deal. Your guess is July 10th. Why July 10th? That's more than 60 days from now, isn't it? Yeah, dude, that's more than 63 days. It should be before that. You vote for Howard. So you voted for Howard Stern in every election for the last 30 years, is what you're saying. May 9th would be great. That'd really put a damper on the Victory Day parades, wouldn't it? Why 9th of June? Wait, Clay, what are you saying? You're saying that the F-16s won't be here until July 10th? May 9th. I'd like to see it for May 9th, boy. That'd be nice. Although there would be a certain irony in May 1st. Although I don't think May 1st is the big holiday it used to be in the Soviet time. Oh, that's your birthday. You're hoping for your birthday, Pugabone. My Twitter name is the same, but I don't use it. I spend as little time there as possible. The only time I go to Twitter is when I hear from someone else that there's a story, like Anton Gerashenko shared some story and I want to see what he's saying. I just use it for that as secondary source material, mostly. I don't want to do anything to put a dime in Elon Moscovite's pocket. I'm with you, Sharon. I'm really with you. May 9th would make me smile visibly to others. Yeah. Why the 4th of May? What's the 4th of May? No, it'll be gone by midsummer. Oh, well, no, it could. Midsummer is June 21st, right? So, yeah. Could be midsummer. Oh, May the 4th be with you. Star Wars Day. Yeah, you're right. I'm not sure. I'm not sure that taking the bridge out until you cut the land bridge to Crimea makes that much sense. I don't know. I don't know what the Ukrainians have in mind there. But it does appear that the Atesh group is whittling away the forces in Kherson. I did a piece today on the Atesh group's reporting that the number of deserters in the Kherson region is much higher than in other places. And that's likely because there is an active partisan group there that is helping to facilitate deserters, get them someplace where they can hide out, get them away from their posts, or entice them away from their posts and then make sure that they never pick up a gun again. I don't know. But the Atesh group is saying that the number of deserters in Kherson is higher than anywhere else on the front line. And it would make sense that it has something to do with them. Now, the Marines, the Ukrainian Marines, are still holding on to that bridgehead on the left bank of the Dnipro. They're still in Krinky, despite the fact that the Russian army has sent everything against them that they possibly could. Those 300 Marines are still hanging in there somehow. How they're doing that is beyond me. Whoops. Hold on. Okay, we got 13 minutes left. I've made it 47 minutes. Haven't Russians constructed a railway to cover the loss of the bridge? Yeah, they have. Well, it's not quite complete yet, which is why I haven't reported on it, because I figure as soon as it's complete, the Ukrainians are just going to blow it up, and then I'll report on it. Long-range drone attacks. Well, we haven't seen any in a week, but I don't see any reason why they would stop, Clay, when targets are identified. I'm sure that there's a whole process that the UAF goes through to identify and prioritize targets. UK sent a load of them, and of course the Ukrainians have unveiled their new latest long-range drone. It's got a 3,000-kilometer range. So there's nothing inside Russia that's safe anymore. No. 1,600 Storm Shadows? No, they're not. Is that confirmed? Is that real? That can't be right. Now, it is possible. Oh, Anthony Tommy Tom is saying yes. Huh. That's amazing. Now, we don't know how many ATACMS they're getting, but it is possible that they're getting all of them, which could be about the same figure. And the reason that they could be getting all of them is because America is about to decommission them and stop using them. And so it could be that all the ATACMS are on their way, which would make me very happy. 1,600. Hats off to the UK. Hey, Truthful. How you doing? Guys, thanks for all the likes. Thanks for all the gifts, like those, the confetti, thank you. The roses, thank you. The head thing, I feel pretty. And it helps make up for 4 out of 5 weeks of being off the lives. I can't even believe it. France never committed to sending troops. France said that it wasn't off the table, which is a very different thing. Not all Storm Shadow. 1,600 is the total missiles. What are the others, I wonder? Dave Hayes sent me an ice cream cone. Hey, Doc. How you doing, pal? Did you hear me plug your video? Future president saying that's not true. All right, I'll find out tomorrow. I'll do a video on it. Thanks, Eli. You're sweet, too. Everybody thank Eli again. Eli is the sponsor of tonight's live. Well, Dave, what the fuck is that, dude? You can't be doing that on the highway. I hope that was voice activated. Look at that. I feel like Chiquita Banana. Yeah, be safe, Dave. Hey, Fitzy, Doc is in your neighborhood. And so big thanks to Eli, who is the sponsor of tonight's live. Big thanks to the best moderator team on the Tickety Talk: Cheyenne, Vanetta, PT, John Williams, Jay, and of course, my dear friend, Hacky Sack Trav. And big thanks to Lars, who runs the Discord server, and to Nightshade, who runs the Peter's Peeps group on the Tickety Talk. He's driving, Fitz. Don't ask him to answer questions. We got, let's see, we got 7 minutes left. So questions, comments, points of observation, or personal need. Anything from anybody? Well, then stop it, Fitz. Jesus, you're an idiot. Oh, now see, that's the kind of thing that's going to get me banned again, man. Stop it. Have I... The mood. This is not a competition. This is not an idiot's competition, you guys. Stop it. Have I thought about getting a website? I haven't, no. Ivo Mir is saying it's 1,600 total, both strike and air defense missiles. All right, I'll find out. I'll get an inventory, at least what's publicly known, tomorrow. That is not the point, dude. That is definitely not the point. Whatchamacallit? Somebody had asked before about sponsoring lives. The PayPal is in the bio. And if you PayPal me $30 or more, you get a live sponsorship. Or if you join the Patreon, which I would prefer you do, join the Patreon at the $30 level or more, and you will get a video sponsorship every month. I will shout out your name, and you will get a video sponsorship. That's funny, Kim Sam. That's funny. Kim Sam says, I'm flying a commercial airliner. I can't really text. It says pull up. Should I worry? Take care, Eli. Thanks again. Patreon links are in the bio. Thank you, Cheyenne. The Patreon is my bread and butter. If you, on the subject of how hard it is to live on $12,000 a year, just take a look at my Patreon. Yeah. Hey, Jacob. Any other final thoughts, questions? What do we got? 3 minutes here? 6 minutes. We got 6 minutes. YouTube link in bio. The YouTube link is in the bio, is it? Cool. Hey, KC. I'm plugging along, man. Good evening, Croatia. You're not even the first guy here from Croatia tonight. I do love the international nature of this group. I really do. Germany, Norway, Sweden, Croatia, UK is here. I didn't see anybody from Ireland tonight. Germany I did. Ukraine, of course. And then the U.S. and Canada was broadly represented. Bulgaria is here. Nice. The Netherlands is here. Nice. Spain, Norway, South Africa. Nice, Van. Switzerland is here. Latvia. Oh, we got some Baltics. Isn't attacking nuclear power plants kind of like nuclear attack Chernobyl? That is uninhabitable. Yeah. If anybody was seriously attacking nuclear power plants, it would be a bad move. But the attacks against the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant have been structured specifically not to cause damage, just to cause terror. Good night, Anthony. There's Joey the Lips in Ireland in the house. Nice. And Sweden. Very nice. Oh, we got Rocco's from Ireland, too. Nice to see Ireland in the house. Florida. Purple Haze. Any relation to Doc Hayes? Thanks, effing hell. Good to hear about oil refinery and Russian oil depot. It was just a depot. It wasn't the refinery. Thanks, Croatia. I like to think so. It was just an oil storage facility. So 26,000 cubic meters of fuel burned. I don't believe it was crude oil. I believe that it was refined fuel, gasoline, diesel, and there was something else in that list. It wasn't kerosene. Pete, what do you think of the orcs using chemical weapons and one word from the UN or NATO? Jay, they've been doing it. The last count was, I think, is 22,000 documented cases of the use of chemical weapons in Ukraine by the Russians. This is not a new thing, pal. There were even at least a dozen documented cases of the use of what was likely mustard gas. You know, the shit that Saddam Hussein used against the Kurds. So this is nothing new, pal. Texas. Crimea Bridge needs to come down soon. Shit, yeah. You think Russia will use nuclear weapons? No. Thank you for keeping us updated on everything. Thank you, Drywall Guy. I appreciate that. Yeah, they've used the phosphorus. The phosphorus has been used consistently through this entire conflict, and not just on troops, on civilian populations. And that white phosphorus is a nightmare. I can't even imagine. We do not know how many attack. We didn't even know that they sent ATACMS back in March. It was a big operational security secret. I will try to have a funny for next time, Clay. I don't have one today, I have to admit. Yeah, I'll be your amateur, Nicola. I'm definitely not an expert. Well, guys, it looks like we made it through the hour, if you can believe it. It is 12:59 here in Ukraine, so it's just about 1 a.m., and I'm definitely feeling it. It is really a pleasure to see you all again. Not you, Clay, everybody else. And 42,000 likes. You know, the funny thing is, I don't care about the likes. It was Lars who taught me how important they are. So I'm deeply appreciative to all of you for doing that. But it is not something that motivates me personally. Oh, you son of a bitch. You're ordering pizza. Clay, I swear to God, this is a true story. So I was really hankering for some pizza last night, and I had a recommendation on this place to try, right? So I tried this place, and I ordered my favorite. I ordered pineapple, chicken, and pepperoni pizza. And when I tell you, right now, those are three things: pineapple, pepperoni, chicken, pizza. That's a lot of flavor. Flavorless. It was like chewing pita bread with cheese on it. I'm like, how can there be no flavor here? How can this not have flavor? Like, I swear to God. Somebody asked about the food here in Ukraine before. Ukraine has some of the most wonderful food that you could ever imagine. But they can't get pizza right at all. I mean, at all. It's dreadful. It's terrible. There is no good pizza in this whole country that I have found yet. None. If you find a place with a decent red sauce, the crust is terrible. If you find a place with a decent crust, they don't even have a red sauce. You can get an Alfredo sauce with chicken and pickled pear on it, which is great, don't get me wrong, but it sure as shit is not a pizza. I'm too old and tired for the restaurant business again. I've done that business. I know what it is to work 16 hours a day in a kitchen. I'm not doing that again. Yeah. There is America invented pizza, Herb. So please, if you want pizza, you got to go to New York. New York pizza is pizza. Chicago pizza, I'm not sure what that is, but it's good at least. It's flavorful. This shit, I swear to God, I'm chewing this stuff last night and I'm like, this should be satisfying. And it's not at all. Oh, you used to have 3 Dairy Queens. Oh, that's a lot of work. That's a lot of work. Because you're constantly having to fill in for your staff when they don't show up. Because they ate a pot brownie and it was too much for them. All right, I'm going to bed. Yeah, the deep dish pizza. It's good. It's good. I like it. I wouldn't call it pizza. To Disneyland or Disney World, Yorkshire? California or Florida? Because Disneyland is in California. Disney World is in Florida. No, because the Russians have no idea what pizza is either. Florida. Spend the money for the express pass. Spend the money. You'll be glad you did. It changes your whole experience. You're spending all that money anyway. Just do it. Just do it. And then expect your daily expenses to be 3 times what you expect them to be. You know, you think a hamburger is going to be $5, it's going to be $15. Anybody else have any advice for the guy going to Disney World for the first time? Night, Fitzy. Thanks, pal. And you know, I got to tell you, Yorkshire, I haven't been down that way in a while. I could be wrong. A hamburger might be $20 now. But whatever you think it's going to be 3 times that price. Just FYI. And I definitely think that the express pass is worth it. Especially if you have younger children. If you don't have to be in a group, go single much faster. Yeah. Now, if you're tied to a group and you're all going together, that's a different thing, of course. But, oh, hey, Lars. I hope that helps, pal. I do. Sunblock. Remember your sunblock. Ah. Welcome back, Sharon. All right, kids. I'm calling tonight. Good night, everybody. Thanks for everything. I'll see you tomorrow.